Alright, hello everyone, and welcome back to Wargame Red Dragon. Today we have the second of three recent games with my friend Vimes where I was playing as Yugoslavia. So this is Wonsan Harbor, and it is going to be the infantry grind fest that we are all expecting. But I'm hoping that I can manage a couple of tricks up my sleeves as well. So we have M84ANs and some scout infantry heading up to secure Delta. We have the majority of the infantry heading up to secure Foxtrot. And I have a couple Gamma 2s, which are cheap anti-helicopter helicopters, as well as scouts. I believe these are Senka, scout infantry, and a couple other infantry paratroopers headed up to secure Echo. So no command vehicle yet there. I really just wanted to see if this was going to be contested or not, and it in fact was not. So here we have L-17Ks coming in again, having proved their worth in the previous. I do bring them in again. And that's going to be a couple planes down. A couple helicopters down, two of them off the splash damage from the L-17, and he does get out relatively scot-free along with my L-19, going in there to cover an air superiority fighter that never, fortunately for me, occurred. So we are unloading there in Echo and moving up toward Foxtrot. Really no other contact with the enemy so far. But that's never something that you can rely on maintaining for very long in a game like this, and not seeing them put me a little on edge, to be honest. I was moving up the Grancieri, which are cheap 5 points. Oh, I guess never mind. 15 points, scouts, infantry, 5 strength, 15 points. The M84A was probably badly positioned here. I was hoping to get cheeky shots at some of these angles if he was pushing infantry through this region. We also have the M84AN covering this long line of sight, trying to cut things off there. But, well, we'll see what happens. I do see Humvees coming in and a couple units moving over. We lose our Hera 2, we lose some infantry carriers as well, and now I'm moving up the Gamma 2s trying to cut this off. So we're trying to get a stranglehold on Echo, and I'm trying to secure even these buildings here with infantry to make this sort of claim for my own. We do get a couple good kills. Killing some Rangers is always nice, but there's a Sheridan moving up, there's another probable Sheridan there as well, and I mean, we hit him pretty hard, right? So these guys do have that 1400 meter range secondary, which is proving its worth in this town-ish area, I guess. But the LVTP transports do just move into the woods. My Gazellas, Gazellas are lightly armed, but the Gammas are out of the TGMs, and there is infantry nearby as well that will be able to shoot at them. Oreo 2 does come in and get a kill on a Sheridan, but it's chased by an Eagle. Can it get out? And yes, it can. So that plane did manage just barely to get free. The F-15C is trying to chase some of my helicopters. I have an L-19 of my own, comes in, shoots, 0 for 3, 0 for 4, and the F-15 is scot-free. Not exactly what I wanted. So you'll notice I'm trying to get away from having too many command vehicles at the start, trying to secure those forward positions instead, back when the, at the start of the game is a little bit more flexible. Light riflemen, probably not a match for these 15 strength regular infantry. That was at least the hope. But we do, by moving those Gazelles forward, I was trying to support against the light riflemen. We do see that those transports are here, there's infantry there. I'm beginning to suspect that there's going to be a bit of a push taken hold on that side of the forest. In the meantime, infantry in the center are doing okay. We're starting to make contact with light riflemen. It's all a little distracting, and I'm throwing Hera 2s out here just to guard against any sort of surprise attack from that direction. Helo rushes are a thing, and it's better to be prepared than to be taking on unawares. But US Marines, we do spot them going up, and I'm getting a little nervous because if we look back here, I have Simca, which we saw them be a little useful in the previous Battle Branki, but I wanted to bring in a command vehicle as well, and I'm not sure I can quite manage it as US Marines move up, supported by light riflemen, and they're chewing pretty well through our frontal infantry. So Britskaya Piz and Mechanizovna Piz, as best as I can pronounce it, are getting stunned and killed by the superior US Marines and their mini-me guns. I bring in an Oreo bomber. I just wanted this to be over, but it's a little greedy, and he almost gets taken down by Chaparral. Let's see. Second shot is a miss. Third shot is a hit, and the Oreo just barely manages to get out because we got lucky. And you should never rely on getting lucky instead of just calling in appropriate airstrikes, because, well, when you rely on getting lucky, you'll lose your air force in a hot second. So we are losing slowly the value here in the center. I mean, yes, we're killing a unit of light riflemen there, Yes, we're wearing down the Rangers and the other light riflemen, but these U.S. Marines are holding strong. We've lost a couple of our Mechanizovana, that's the best as I can do. And my M84 moving up, trying to get some cheeky lines of sight here, does get absolutely hammered by two M2A2s, and I lose another Oreo coming in for bombing run from the F-15C Eagle. So, double stack of Bradleys is dangerous. These L-19 unable to finish the job against the F-15C either, and I'm a little frustrated at this point because several things have gone very much not to code very quickly. And to make it all worse, I have heavy hogs coming in, and I've overchased with my L-19, which is a kerosene leak, and let's see. Nope, shot down. Ooh, that was a cool shot. Shot down just as he was about to retreat. So I've lost a couple planes. My luck did run out, as it were, and my M84AN is getting sniped by M2A2 Bradleys. 35 points each, really valuable fire support vehicle there, just absolutely amazing. M84AN not worth any of its 110 points when deployed in that position and not properly supported, but I didn't have anti-air infantry, so I couldn't punish by stacking these towns with AA infantry, which is my usual sort of thing on this map, and the heavy hogs are just going a little hog wild, as it were. Yes, I know, that was horrible. I regret it already, but, well, it's been said, it's been recorded, you're gonna have to deal with it. So, heavy hogs and their frag launchers are just stun locking, getting crits on the M84. Not really that useful for killing it, but, I mean, they're preventing it from recovering. So I do just try to move him backwards here, but that moves him back in the line of sight, the M2A2, and there's the kill. 70 points worth of M2A2 Bradleys have killed, oh, I don't know, nearly 200 points of, well, slightly over 205 points of Yugoslavian tanks. So that combined with the amount of wear down in the center, and I'm feeling very much insecure here. I mean, sure, my Senka are opening up on the US Marines, and that's going to be absolutely deadly. But it's not going to be enough to kill them without the Radobranki. My infantry, I mean, just look at the amount of stuff I have left on the battlefield. It's not very much. Most of my expensive pieces are gone. I do have a Spat Bov moving up, and he's taking out one heavy hog. We'll see if we can find the other ones as well, but Skya Piaz versus US Marines, not going to be a winning fight there. He does retreat, and I kind of was sensing a trap, but I think he should have pushed, to be honest. I mean, it's always hard to know what your opponent has in this game, because the second you think, well, you know, I'm sure he has overwhelming force here, he doesn't, and then you feel like a fool watching the replay afterward. But Senka opening up and really just making great use of their sniper rifles, as we do get a little bit of support from nearby allied infantry as well. And nobody's really been securing much of anything, so I still have that +2 ticking from securing Golf that I've had pretty much the entire game, and my opponent will come to regret that if he's not able to do something about it soon. The US Marines, I mean, they've consumed half the ammo from the Senka, which is a little annoying, but they're stunned. One group is almost gone, but they are able to just barely get away, and here come more enemy troop movements. This looks like a lot of Humvees, which means a lot of infantry, 3-4 groups at least, and I do not have my replacements in place. So my Skya Piaz are going to be hit very, very hard. LVTPs are infantry killers as well, carrying their grenade launchers, so I have infantry on the way, but these are the cheapest of the cheap. 15-point infantry inside of 5-point transports, and I've tried and failed to hunt down those US Marines, which looks like they got a bit of a heal from some sort of resupply in those woods. I do secure Echo, and this was... I knew I needed reinforcements, but I secured Echo because I was relatively confident that I could hold this line for right now, and I really wanted to put the pressure on my opponent for getting to deal with that ticking conquest points, because +3 is not something you can let go for that long of a time and still be successful. Senka shooting now and taking a little bit of return fire from the US Marines, still not able to even kill a single unit, although maybe that one was killed. And now finally taking some casualties as these guys do close in, and I have to move the Radobranki forward, but I think I was distracted over here for just a minute, and I just noticed when the first Senka dies that we have lost one to group. Of course, the US Marines nearly gone, and they're not going to be able to make it to the town, which is an expensive mistake for my opponent, so that's 30 points each, probably 120 points of US Marines, plus their transports that don't quite make good use of themselves. Now, we have restocked a little bit in the center, it's not enough, but I do bring in an Oreo 2, trying to kill those Bradleys. I think we get one of them. Yeah, that was a single explosion, but the Oreo 2 goes down. Again, to that Eagle that I just cannot seem to kill, which was super annoying. I was talking with my opponent during the match, and I just was telling him, I've sent the L-19 after him so many times to no effect, no effect, no effect. Oh, it was terrifying. Terrifyingly annoying. So, this guy is a 40 points rocket helicopter that I've never really tried before, 45 points, sorry. And he's not going to be tried today, as that Pivad's knocks him out of the sky before he can bring any of those rocket pods to bear. And I'm making a lot of mistakes, so that never should have happened. This should have been reinforced way sooner. I should have had logistics trucks here to prevent some of my other units from dying. And, it goes to show. You can always get better, can always remember not to do the things that you shouldn't be doing. And this is something as well, I think my opponent, let's flip to neutral here for just a second. Yeah. So, his reinforcements in the center came in way earlier than mine. He could have pushed me out then, probably secured a position in Foxtrot, which would have cut me off in Delta as well, and that would have been a very dominant position. Instead, he has most of his stuff back pretty far, really farther back than it needs to be. U.S. Marines this far back is a little bit of a waste, I think. Although the LAVC team can be definitely forgiven as defending the back line. So we did move up the infantry again, and I'm hoping to sort of grind him down. In one case, because his use of U.S. Marines is a very expensive habit. So I mean that in terms of points cost, but also unit availability. These guys are not endless, and if I can get good kills on them with cheap Mekhinovs and a 10-point infantry, then so much the better for me, because I have a bucket load of these guys. And in fact, I think I am shortly bringing in even more. So we do get a couple kills. We're not able to really secure the position, and these guys are getting worn through, but I'm relying on the fact that I've pushed to make my opponent think that I pushed from a position of strength, when I really didn't. I have a single unit back here as a roadblock, and that's not going to be enough should he push back. But, if I move forward aggressively and behave like I'm strong, then maybe he'll think that I am. So Oreo comes in, yet another bombing run, hoping to take out some of those US Marines, and bombs go down. Yeah, not bad. I don't know if we killed a single one of them yet, but yeah, it was a good attempt. And my Druids got through, did kill the other Bradley, and I think this guy's shooting manually targeted at the Hempt, because 40 points is 40 points, and denying resupply is always a good thing. When you can manage it anyway. So yeah, we did kill... Nope, there's still one M2A2 right there, but that's a good cheeky shot, and that Hempt goes down. Very satisfying explosion, if I do say so myself. But Skyapes are finally getting just their asses handed to them, and I do lose the Droog as well to return fire from the M2A2. Or Light Rifleman. A little hard to tell. That zoomed in. I like to be zoomed in on replays. I know I'm supposed to show the whole thing as much as I can, but it's just so tempting. So we have more paratroopers coming in. We also have more cheap infantry coming to pad out the center. And I don't know. There's not much that can really be said about this, other than that we're fighting each other sort of to exhaustion here. But I still have maintained a +2. He has secured Bravo, which should have been secured far earlier. But now I've secured Foxtrot and Echo, and we're not even contested. Yeah, okay. Now Charlie's secured. And there it is, right on time, so is Delta, and I need to contest this in order to keep a +1 in this match. So that'll happen. It'll have to happen very soon. I think he's just moving around command infantry, as it is right now. That's probably the helicopter that they were sent in on. All jokes about that aside. So, the HT-40s from my Radobranki are finally moving up and around, just hoping to be a little bit annoying if they do find anything, although I'm not necessarily expecting it. So, let's see. Yep, here come the other reinforcements. Now, I did drop Radobranki here. I wanted a firm backbone to fight the US Marines on sort of level footing, and these guys can definitely get that done. They are elite training. I believe the US Marines are shock, although I could be wrong. I think they are shock, so elite training will always have an edge there. And the boom bar is a very, very effective AT weapon. 10-50 meter range, so about the highest end for that sort of direct fire thing. Short of the 1400 meter range, sort of recoilless rifle class of secondaries. And here are the Mekhinovskaya Pez as well, and we're hoping to just move up and form another line. This is sort of what this map tends to devolve into. It's a little unpleasant, if I'm honest, but a good old infantry grind is fun from time to time. So I do also see Hueys moving over here. This I interpreted as the prelude to some other sort of troop movements in this area. Kind of disconcerted by that. but not really too much to do about it. And in fact, they do change direction. I think it was a bit of a feint. It's trying to draw my attention over here before I do anything. It does draw out an L-17K, so I shoot one of those down because I expected him to be fully loaded with infantry, and I don't think he was. So very bad trade for me, 70 points plane for basically a 15-point transport. I have an Oreo that's going in, trying to kill that Pivads and the Paradley. It is, yeah, shot and shot down by the Pivads, but yeah, it gets a little revenge, which is nice. A-10 Thunderbolt coming in and sniping 5-point transports, I guess. So, you know, definitely not worth it, because that A-10 is 140 points. But, I mean, kills are kills, right? More than 0 is better than literally 0. Sorry, I lost my controls there for a second. And the Mekhanovskaya Pez are now encountering resistance. I haven't really moved the other ones up as well as I need to, or even unloading them, because you know, a lot's starting to happen. I see a Sheridan, I see a command vehicle, and in response to this, I move the Radobranki into the woods and tell them to attack move up this side strip here. So my hope is that they'll be able to overcome anything that they find in these woods, and vehicles are very vulnerable in the woods, particularly to things like the Radobranki's Boombar, which, well, with a double squad can easily result in a single, I guess, volley of 2 shots being a kill. So now we do have the other infantry moving up. Mekhanovskaya Pez holding the front lines against a couple Humvees that are just trying to see if I have anything here, because it's been empty for so long that my opponent finally thought, okay, well, we'll move forward, and as soon as he does see enemy guns, he does move back. Here's the countercap. So Echo's countercapped. We do have a countercap going on in Delta as well, but it's +0/+0, and only 16 minutes left in the match, which is more than halfway over. I think he's just resituating here, I'm not really sure. I don't think he's seen the Radobranki, because they haven't engaged yet. But I did actually manage to sneak Mekhanovskaya Pez up and around the sides. They went through here, over to here, and then around and through, and, well, my friend Vimes was cursing me out at this point, rightfully so, because that was a bit of a dick move on my part. But I'm hoping to get close to something, maybe kill a command vehicle if I can, maybe kill just whatever support is over here, if I can as well. I manually targeted them out this way, and this was really annoying, because I told them to go into this building, you could see them change direction, and they're just like, oh, well, we'll just walk around and get shot, and walk around and get shot, and who knows. Radobranki encounter Rangers, and they are making relatively short work. Rangers getting in a good couple of licks, and I think that's because their primary weapon, the Kar-15, is a phenomenal primary, but the Radobranki are moving on undeterred. You see a response to that, so the Rangers did their job as a bit of a roadblock, but it's not quite far enough up as the Radobranki are able to open fire, killing a Sheridan. And yeah, so this is just, the CV was moved back to the right, and everything that could be was thrown in front of the Radobranki to slow them down. Unfortunately, that does mean the countercap is gone, and we're at +1 ticking again. And Mechanizovna Pez, I guess, shooting in, but hopelessly outnumbered on that forward edge of the map, but preventing distraction that I really wanted them to be, so that works okay for me. Spatbull of 30s now on the right-hand side of Delta, just hoping to punish that Eagle if he comes in again, and just, ugh, that was super annoying the whole time. And the Radobranki, undeterred, now do get a kill on that CV, and Echo is ours once more. So that +1 will be enough eventually, it's just a matter of if I can get anything better. My Radobranki are briefly stunned by an M1A1 Abrams, but that is, let's see, 115 points worth of tank, and it has an optical failure, so that's why it's moving forward. And, you know, 70 points of elite infantry are more than enough to take that down at close range. These guys, I believe, have gotten something like 200, 220 points worth of kills so far. So, quite satisfied with their performance, to say the least. Let's speed up a little bit as things sort of draw toward the later part of this match, and our front line is a little reinforced here, but I move forward, and it's a little bit of a trap. So US Marines, LVTPs shooting in, and he's moving back. Heavy Hogs moving up, but the Radobranki take them out, because, you know, infantry shooting at helicopters is time-honored tradition, I suppose. But M84A and moving up once more, getting shot at by light riflemen, but I do get a nice cheeky kill there, and I can move back out of the light rifleman's range of fire. So, as long as I'm smart, I shouldn't lose the M84A and chip damage from these light riflemen, at least not too quickly. Radobranki are just moving up to make sure that nothing else comes through this way. Probably should have gone up there way earlier, prevented the countercap entirely. We do get a kill on a combat, and this M84AN has a very nice, if small, firing arc right down this lane. So that gets us some security here to prevent opponents, well, I guess enemy armor from moving up in that lane as well. Although shots against infantry aren't really going to be too much of a thing. We lack the visibility as they're moving in and amongst these towns. But now I just want to hold, because I have my hold on Foxtrot, I have my hold on Echo, I have some, I guess, technically a hold on Delta that hasn't been pushed this whole time. I mean, if it were me, the US Marines, I believe, are still right here. Let's pop back to neutral. No, okay, so he did move those up. I think they were maybe moved over to fight off my men on the side. But I would have been pushing to get control of Delta way sooner, because if you can take this as the blue player on this side of the field, and you can get to this bridge, well, there goes a lot of the rest of the map. You'll have to start, your opponent will have to start reinforcing through Golf, through Foxtrot, just to get around in a flanking position, which is incredibly difficult and very, very annoying. So the Battle Brunki are moved out of the woods, and, well, there's TACOM. So I do see the enemy command infantry and tell them to engage. Unfortunately, we are taking grenade launcher fire, so it doesn't exactly go to code, but it does force them to move, which means that we have a +2 ticking instead of +1 as that TACOM repositions. And yeah, well, we actually do get the kill. So this guy was reloading long enough, we lost the stun, and we're able to get him with the squad weapon. So Charlie is down. It gives us +2, 433 points in the bank. And I've moved a scout helicopter forward just enough where I can see the enemy's FOB, I can see their HEMT, refilling those resupply vehicles. And the M84AN is now being covered by smoke as we go forward and push way too far into my opponent's zone of control. Light riflemen do land a couple hits, and that's 2 points of damage, firing computer reset, which of course means that our main gun is going to have some major problems. Second good shot landing in, side shot from those light riflemen, and the M84 is moving back, hoping to escape death. This was sort of experimental. I'd never really done that sort of forward movement there before, and it was a stupid thing to do as the M84 is taken down by lowly light riflemen, barely worth their weight in salt. I do push forward as well, but there's a hard line of US Marines that are very much putting a stop to any of that shenaniganry. Light riflemen, by the way, 20 points apiece means 40 points of infantry killed 110 points of scout tank over there, so that's, you know, not what you want. Not what you want at all, especially because I really didn't give back very well either. So my front line is relatively well shot through, but I already have reinforcements in place, and these guys are those cheapo infantry that I can throw at the wall all day without too much trouble, and we're just gathering critical mass of O-to-M 60Ps, 5-point M2 Browning carriers. The M53 Serac really doesn't matter quite as much, lower caliber is much less effective, but you know, I'm just hoping to hold and hold and hold and hold. And at this point, the hold on the game is pretty complete. So let's speed through the rest here, and oof, I've messed up a little bit. I won't be able to show you the kills because I did switch to neutral. So instead, may I just say, thank you all for hanging around, and well, we were within 35 points kills losses this game, so quite a good match to my opponent as well. We'll see you again real soon.